So can you able to see this slide? Phasor diagram of three-phase induction motor. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now with respect to this, the phasor diagram, so you can see it is similar to the transformer equivalent circuit. Okay. So with slight changes. So these changes, what are the changes? I'll initiate while explaining. Okay. So it is similar to your transformer circuit. So now with respect to this, so as we know that induction motor so consists of two parts. So the stator and the rotor. Okay. So with respect to the stator, whatever the diagram which has been represented towards the left is the stator, and towards right it is the rotor circuit. Okay. So whatever the representation here we are representing, it is the stator representation. Towards right it is the rotor representation. So now with respect to this, so the stator which will be formed with respect to the input, that is the three-phase supply which will be given. So it is similar to that of the transformer. Okay. So the consideration, so the stator consideration will be equivalent to that of the primary of the circuit of a transformer. Similarly, whatever the rotor consideration, it is similar to transformer of secondary consideration. Okay. So there is not much difference with the slip which will be coming into pitch here. Okay. So now with respect to the consideration, so here when the input voltage is been applied, so here the no load current will be flowing in the no load resistance and the no load reactance, and I1 is the primary current which will be flowing in the stator circuit. With respect to that, so R1 and X1 as the rotor resistance and rotor reactance, stator resistance and stator reactance. So whenever the EMF is been induced, so this EMF will be opposing the applied voltage. So with respect to this, the stator connections can be done. If those are joining late, it becomes a bit difficult. So I have to accept the conditions. Otherwise, they cannot hear. So that's why please log in as soon as possible. So 5 minutes or 3 minutes delay will be there. So now in stator, the as I told, it is similar to that of the primary winding of the transformer. So as the applied voltage V1 is been applied, so the voltage which will be supplied to the primary circuit and EMF is been induced. So that EMF will be opposing the supply voltage. So with respect to that, so what is the rotor resistance and rotor reactance which will be coming into consideration? So what will be the formula for rotor resistance and rotor reactance? So now with respect to this equivalent circuit, so how the phasor diagram will be represented? Okay, so I'll come later with respect to that phasor diagram. So now with respect to this, what are the voltage equations which will be represented? So here E2 dash is nothing but the rotor induced EMF. So rotor induced EMF will be equal to slip times that of the EMF induced in the secondary. So where K is the transformation ratio, that is E2 by E1. So the flow of stator current causes the voltage drop with respect to R1 and X1. So therefore, what will be the supply voltage equation? V1 is equal to minus E1 plus I1 into the impedance. The impedance is nothing but the rotor resistance and stator resistance and the stator reactance comes into picture. So V1 is equal to minus E1 plus I1 R1 plus J X1. So when the motor is under no load condition, so here the two currents comes into picture. So one is the magnetizing current, second one is the working current or the loss current. So that's how the no load current comes into picture. So similarly, the rotor induced EMF will be equal to I2 dash into R2 plus J into S into X2. So the slip will be coming into picture. Okay. So now we'll come to the phasor diagram. So how to draw the phasor diagram? So consider the reference phase as the flux. Okay. So here take the flux as the reference phasor. So considering the flux as the reference phasor, so with respect to the flux, so what is the EMF induced in the stator winding? So as we see here, V is equal to minus E1. Okay, so since forget about the minus, so whatever the EMF induced, which will be opposing the applied voltage. So instead of that, presently let us go for the EMF induced will be lagging the flux with respect to flux by 90 degrees. So draw a line with respect to the reference line. So at an angle of 90 degrees. So this is E1. So after drawing E1, since it is opposing the applied voltage, so go for reversing the E1 in the opposite direction. So at the upward direction, show the minus E1, which is the phase voltage. Okay. So after representing this phase voltage, so what will be the no load current I0? So I0 will be the sum of the two currents, that is the magnetizing current and the working current. So magnetizing current will be in phase with respect to the flux, and working current or the compensating current IC will be 90 degrees with respect to flux phi. So the sum of these two currents will give you the no load current. Okay. So now with respect to this no load current I0, so let us go for representing the other currents. So now with respect to the equation, that is V1. So if I want to get V1, which is equal to minus E1 plus I1 into R1 plus I1 into J into X1. So that is the drop in the rotor resistance and drop in the stator resistance and drop in the stator reactance. Okay. So that gives the sum of these two drops will be the voltage V1. So now with respect to that, so here is E1. So here is I1 R1. So how to draw I1 R1? So before drawing I1 R1, okay, so E2R is in phase with E1. That is I2R lags E2R. So with respect to the voltage E2R, so E2R will be in phase with respect to E1. So draw E2. So here is the E2. So with respect to this E2, I2R, that is the rotor current, will be lagging at an angle phi 2R. So from here, the I2R will be lagging with respect to E2. That is phi 2R. So now with respect to this, the drop I2R2 will be in phase with respect to this current, and I2X2 will be 90 degrees in quadrature with respect to this current, that is rotor current. So the sum of these two drops gives you the rotor induced EMF, that is E2R. So that's the formula which has been represented here. So E2R is equal to I2 dash R2 plus J into X2 S into X2. So that is your summation to get E2. So now with respect to I2R, reverse this I2R to get I1. So to reverse, so extend the line in the opposite, which gives the I2R dash. So with respect to this I2R dash, the sum of these two currents, I2, I dash to R and I0 gives the current I1. So now with respect to this current I1, take the parallel line here to get the summation of the voltage V1. So parallel to this current, draw a line to get the resistance drop, and similarly 90 degrees to get the reactance drop. So the sum of these two drops will give the impedance drop. So V1 will be equal to minus E1 plus these two drops will be V1. So this is how the vector diagram or the phasor diagram will be represented for your three-phase induction motor. So the procedure has been given. So take flux as the reference phasor. The induced voltage E1 lags 5 by 90 degrees. So draw line minus E1 by reversing voltage phase E1. So why minus 1? Because applied voltage will be opposing the applied voltage, supply voltage. So the phasor E2R is in phase with E1, I2R lags E2R. So reverse I2R to get I dash 2R. So IM is in phase with flux phi, while IC is leading 90 degrees with flux phi. So add these two to get the no load current I0. So while adding I0 and I dash 2R to get I1. So once if we get I1, now go for getting the voltage V1. So minus C1, the drop I1 R1 plus I1 X1 gives the voltage V1. So the angle between V1 and I1 will be flux phi1, that is with respect to the voltage, the stator voltage, and similarly with respect to rotor. So this is the procedure to draw the phasor diagram. Do you have any doubts with respect to the phasor diagram? Any doubts with respect to phasor diagram? Do you have any doubts with respect to phasor diagram?
No, sir.
So no, sir.
Okay, so I'll go for equivalent circuit of three-phase induction motor. So I'm going for equivalent circuit of three-phase induction motor. So again, I'll be considering the same equivalent circuit. Okay, so here the stator, which is similar what we have been discussed previously. So that is equivalent to the transformer primary. So where the applied voltage V1 per phase will be V1, and R1 and X1 will be the stator resistance and reactance per phase. Okay, so with respect to this, when the voltage V1 is being applied, a magnetic flux links in the stator windings. So as well as some voltage will be there in the rotor side if the rotor is been closed. If it is open, so small voltage will be there, it will be a negligible. Okay, so now with respect to this equivalent circuit diagram, so when I go for standstill condition and the running condition, that is a rotating condition, so how the vector diagram will be represented. So it is similar to a transformer. Okay, so it is 1:1 ratio we are considering. So under standstill condition, so you can see there is no slip which will be coming into pitch with respect to the rotor side. And when we go for rotating, the slip comes into picture. So S into E2 and S into X2. So these are the two pictures which will be presenting during standstill condition and the running condition. Okay. So now with respect to the rotor circuit, sorry, stator circuit, so there will be two currents. One is the no load current, another is the primary current, that is I1. So now with respect to these two currents, so how the no load current comes into picture. So with respect to the no load resistance R naught and no load reactance X naught or Xm, so whatever we will be representing, okay, so that will be equal to, or as per Ohm's law, so V1 by whatever the current IW or IC, working current or compensating current, and here Im will be equal to V1 by Im. Okay, so that is Xm. X naught is equal to V1 by Im as per the Ohm's law. So these are the two currents while finding the no load current I naught. I naught will be equal to sum of these two currents, Im and Ic or Iw. So now with respect to this, the transformation ratio K also comes into picture. So K is equal to E2 by E1, that is rotor turns or the rotor induced EMF and the stator turns comes into picture. So that is with respect to K. So next, while coming to the equations, so this is the small air gap, that is induction motor, which can be represented with a small air gap. So when the induction motor is under loaded condition, so what will happen? So with respect to this, the current I2 will be flowing in the rotor circuit. So that's what I2R will be equal to the slip times E2 divided by R2 square plus S into X2 whole square under root. So that's the equation which has been represented here. So getting the load across the rotor, that is RL, so divide the slip in this particular equation at the denominator. Okay, so here if you see in the second expression, so I2 R dash will be equal to E2 divided by square root of R2 by S whole square plus X2 square. So that is a dividing slip in this particular equation. So what will be the expression for R2 divided by S? So that we have to get the expression. So if you see in the next slide, so this is how the first expression will be represented. So that is with respect to diagram 1, 2 and 3. The R2 by S is greater than R2. So if I go for here in this expression, R2 by S is more than only R2. So why? Because slip we are taken into consideration. That is slip under any condition will be low. That is a 0.202 or 0.04. So based on that, we are considering it will be having large value. So R2 by S is greater than R2. So since the slip is in fraction, therefore R2 by S can be divided into a fixed part. Okay, so in that particular equation, if I divide R2 by S, which is equal to R2 plus R2 into 1 by S minus 1. So that comes into picture. So in this equation itself, that is here. So we are separating this and we are adding and dividing the slip here. So R2 by S, which is equal to R2 plus R2 by S minus R2 by S. So adding and subtracting the slip here. So if I add and subtract the slip here, the first part R2 is the rotor resistance per phase representing the rotor copper loss. So coming to the second condition, the R2 into 1 by S minus 1 is the variable resistance. That is, load will be varying here. So the power delivered to the load, so which will be in terms of mechanical power, so which will be developed at the rotor side. So the mechanical load on the induction motor can be replaced by the variable load as R2 into 1 by S minus 1. So here this will be acting as a load resistance. So that's what the expression will be represented in the third diagram. Okay. So do you have any doubts with respect to this? So
Explain once again.
okay. So this is the equivalent circuit for the rotor when the slip is been taken into consideration. Okay. So the rotor current I to R will be equal to S into E2 divided by square root of R2 square plus S into X2 square. Okay. This is the rotor current equation. So now what we are doing here, so we are dividing the slip at the denominator. So removing here, okay, dividing here. So R2 divided by S whole square plus S is there, S and S gets cancelled, X2 square will be there. So that's what it has been represented here. Okay. So why we have to get this here? Because so we have to form what will be the mechanical load. So whether it is a variable or whether it is a fixed one. Okay. So with respect to that, so it will be a mechanical load, that is the power which has to be developed at the shaft. So what will be the R2 by S value? Okay. So if I consider only R2 value, then so there is no much difference. Okay. So slip doesn't play when only R2, that is rotor resistance, is being taken into consideration. So when R2 by S comes into picture, so this value will be greater than this value. So that is excuse me. Okay. So this R2 by S value will be greater than only with R2. Okay. So why? Because the slip which is in fraction will be having, if I take at the numerator with the fixed resistance R2, so this value will be more compared to only resistance R2. So that's what it has been. The quantity R2 by S is greater than R2 since S is in fraction. Therefore, R2 by S can be divided into a fixed part R2 and a variable part R2 by S minus R2. So how this has been done? So here you can see here R2 by S, which is equal to R2 plus add and subtract, that is R2 by S minus R2 by S. So here adding and subtracting R2 by S and R2 by S. So why this has to be done? To get a variable load, that is the mechanical power developed in the rotor. To get this, we are representing the equation in this form. So here you can see the equivalent circuit, so which is similar to, so what we have been represented here. So that is this equivalent circuit. Okay. So that is S into E2, R2, S into X2. So that is the equivalent circuit 1. So now when I divide with respect to R2 by S, okay, so here the variable load comes into picture, that is R2. Okay, so E2 is been represented here. So X2 is been represented here. So as per this equation, so that is X2 is been represented. R2 by S is been represented at the variable position. So now with respect to this, if I combine these two circuit, so what will be the load resistance? So E2 will be equal to, that is I2 dash will be flowing in the R2, X2. So the load resistance will be equal to your variable load. That is variable resistance comes into picture. So that's the third circuit comes into picture. So therefore, the load resistance will be equal to R2 into 1 by S minus 1. Is it clear? To get the mechanical power developed in the rotor, so we are considering this equation. Is there any doubts?
No, sir.
So now combining all the data, so your equivalent circuit will be represented like this. So there is no change in the stator side. Okay. So here the change in the rotor side will be the load resistance. So this is the equivalent circuit of your induction motor. So which is similar to that of your transformer. Okay. So what we have been taking into consideration. So only the change here if I go for the next slide, the K comes into consideration. K is nothing but your transformation ratio. So K square will be represented with respect to the rotor, stator resistance and reactance when it is been referred to stator side. Okay, so that's what the explanation giving here. Induction motor can be represented as an equivalent transformer connected to a variable load RL given in the above equation. That is above equation. So that is RL. Okay. So the power delivered to load resistance with respect to the mechanical in the rotor, the equivalent circuit is as shown in the figure above. Okay. So now with respect to the K value, that is the transformation ratio. So recalling that when shifting resistance reactance from secondary to primary, so we'll be referring the primary circuit to the secondary or secondary circuit to the primary. So here we are referring secondary circuit to the primary. So when we refer here, the resistance and reactance will be changing. So if I shift stator to, that is primary to secondary, so then so it will be multiplied by K with respect to the resistance and reactance. If I shift secondary to primary, referred from to secondary to primary, then it will be divided with respect to resistance and reactance. So that's the expression. R2 dash will be equal to R2 by K square. X2 dash is equal to X2 by K square comes into picture. So we are referring the circuit from secondary to primary. So while referring the circuit from secondary to primary, so these are the expressions which will be represented with respect to the primary. Okay. So the following points has to be noted for the equivalent circuit. So first point, under no load condition, the slip will be 0 and the no load resistance will be infinity. So why? Because so S is equal to 0 means, so here in the equation itself you can see, so 1 by 0 anything it will be infinity. Okay, so it will be acting as an open circuit. So second, at standstill, the slip will be equal to unity. So when it is unity, so RL will be equal to 0. So that is 1 by whatever 1 minus 1 will be 0. So RL will be equal to 0. So at this particular condition, the secondary will be acting as a short circuit. Okay. So similarly, when I go for the other two conditions, so when during running condition, so RL dash will be depending upon the slip. So the condition resembles as this transformer secondary part, that is purely a resistive load. So when we go for equivalent electrical circuit RL dash to mechanical load, the slip or speed dependent comes into consideration. So if slip increases, the load RL decreases. So as the rotor current increases, so with respect to the motor will develop more mechanical power. So with respect to this expected, because the slip of the motor increases with increase in load of the motor shaft. So this is how the 4 points which has to be resembled when we go for considering the equivalent circuit. So do you have any doubts? Do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
So please work out this. Okay. So if you have any doubts, tomorrow again I'll clarify your doubts. Okay. Unless and until if you work out on a paper, so it is not that much easy. Okay. So please work out on the sheet, and tomorrow I'll continue with respect to the power, how the power equation comes with respect to your induction motor, and what will be the maximum output. So the torque considerations, based on this, let us see some numericals. So please sit and work. So tomorrow we'll go for the another equations. Okay, so if you have any doubts, please we'll sit and we'll discuss. Okay. So I'll upload the video. Okay, so you can go through the videos. If you have any doubts, we'll see. Okay, so shall I end this session?